Virgos, and welcome to your forecast for June 2022. My name is Justina, and if this is your first time on my channel, I use Western Astrology, Tropical, Zodiac, and the whole sign system for all the forecasts on this channel. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here in today's video, I'm going to discuss the main astrological events happening in June 2022, and I will tell you how they will influence your life on a more personal level. So here we start the month with Mercury stationing direct in Taurus at 26 degrees of Taurus, and this is happening in your 9th house. So here this retrograde started on May the 10th in the sign of Gemini, so you had your career sphere that was triggered and also the sphere of foreign places, higher education, life direction. Now this retrograde, while Mercury will station direct on June the 2nd, the 3rd, the post-shadow period will end on 17th, 18th of June. So just keep this in mind. If you want to implement some changes or implement some new ideas, take a step-by-step approach in the first 2.5 weeks of the month. Now with this retrograde, if you experience some communication dilemmas, or perhaps if you had some anxious thoughts regarding your career, your life path, for example, your life mission, now with the Mercury stationing direct, all of these aspects of your life will become slightly more clearer, if not very clear. So here, if you want to change anything in your career, if you want to change anything concerning your life direction or higher education, take a step-by-step approach moving forward, because now the energies will be more in your favor. Now here we start the month with this retrograde. Now we move into another retrograde, this time Saturn is stationing retrograde on June the 4th until October the 23rd. And this is happening at 25 degrees of Aquarius. Aquarius rules your 6th house. So here the 6th house is connected to hard work, is connected to work employment, but also your everyday duties, routine, responsibilities. So with Saturn, the planet connected to structure, consistency and responsibility being retrograde, things might be happening at a slightly slower pace. Or you might see that you have to wait longer for certain work-related projects. Or generally, this is a period of a review and reflection rather than innovation. So you might at times lack motivation, or perhaps experience delays as I have just mentioned. But use this time for simplifying your life, your daily life, because with Saturn in the 6th house, Saturn will stay here until next year, at which point it moves into your relationship sphere. Here, this is a time when your daily life might have been pretty busy and you had to work hard. You had to work hard to move forward. So with Saturn retrograde here in Aquarius throughout this time, you might shift your perspective, your outlook, your mindset when it comes to your routines, when it comes to your work and health. Now pay attention here, because with Saturn retrograde in your 6th house, you might also have to keep an open eye for any mistakes, any errors, especially at work. Right, so here with this retrograde, you are reassessing your commitments to specific projects, to specific daily routines, to your diet and health moving forward. So the strongest influence that you will experience will be now in June and then again in October, because that's when Saturn will either station retrograde or station direct. Now on June the 11th, we've got Venus and Uranus conjunction in your 9th house. So the 9th house is the house that is related to your life direction, to foreign places, foreign people, legal matters. So with a Venus and Uranus conjunction here, this could be a day when things happen unexpectedly. Venus and Uranus will conjoin at 16 degrees of Taurus here on the 11th. So if you have any placements at 16 degrees of Taurus or Scorpio, you will especially feel this transit, this conjunction. Venus and Uranus conjunction could bring some surprises, unexpected surprises or changes concerning any foreign travel that you may have booked for this time. Anything to do with import and export. You might also receive unexpected call or an email or news regarding your international business or any deliveries that you may have coming from abroad. Now here with this Venus and Uranus conjunction. This could be also related to unexpectedly meeting someone who comes from a foreign place, foreign country, culture to yours. You might also suddenly decide you want to do something spontaneous or experience something you haven't experienced before. So generally be prepared for the unexpected happening on June the 11th here. Now on June the 14th, we've got a full moon in Sagittarius at 23 degrees of Sagittarius in your 4th house. Now with a full moon in your 4th house, this is about letting go of something possibly that is connected to your home or even an object. So you might be decluttering, getting rid of things that you don't need. Generally with a full moon, this is the time when you might be prompted to get rid of things that you don't need anymore, things that outlived their purpose. So decluttering, doing a clear out is very popular with full moon in your 4th house. Now here with this full moon also, you might be hosting a family event, you might be renovating, generally doing things at your home, even working from home. So that's a full stimulation. You might be making plans, some long-term plans, or dealing with some long-term projects, because this full moon will sextile Saturn in Aquarius in your 6th house. So you might also use additional help. So someone might be also helping you with some renovations, with some house move even. Now since Saturn is retrograde, things might be taking longer than expected, so don't get discouraged, because you can definitely get good results. However, you might have to be more patient and be realistic, because this full moon will also square Neptune in Pisces, so there's a certain degree of illusion and confusion when it comes to Neptune transit. Now here on the 23rd, we've got Venus moving into Gemini. Venus in Gemini here. Gemini rules your 10th house, so this will positively influence your career sphere moving forward, and you will attract really positive energies here throughout this transit, especially because Venus will sextile Jupiter in your 8th house. So you might gain financially throughout this time, because here Mars rules your 8th house, so financial gains are possible throughout this time with Venus and Mars sextile. Now here a possibility for expansion as well, expansion connected to your career growth as well. So really interesting opportunities coming your way starting from June the 23rd. Anything to do with your career growth, and your public image will be positively influenced moving forward. Now on June the 25th, we've got Neptune stationing retrograde at 25 degrees of Pisces, and this retrograde will end on December the 1st. So here with this retrograde in Pisces, and Pisces rules your 7th house. So with Neptune retrograde in your 7th house, you'll be reviewing your relationships in your life. Here with Neptune retrograde, you will have to be realistic about your expectations that you have of your partner. Now you might also overcommit yourself at times, because you might be over-optimistic. So here be clear about what is it that you want when it comes to your relationships, but also be cautious when signing any contracts, any agreements, because there could be a certain degree of confusion and illusion when it comes with this retrograde. Now, here with this retrograde, while you will be reviewing your relationships, soon Saturn will come here into your 7th house. So while with Neptune, it wasn't difficult, it wasn't easy to build any sort of stability, long-term stability. Now with Saturn next year, you will see things will be starting to look very different in your relationships, where you will be able to build more consistency, more structure, and make long-term plans moving forward. So use this retrograde of Neptune in your 7th house to reevaluate your relationships. Be realistic about your expectations, and what is it that you want? What is it that you desire from your relationships? Because this will help you when Saturn makes its transition into Pisces in 2023. Now the month ends with a new moon in Cancer, and this is happening at 7 degrees of Cancer. Now Cancer rules your 11th house of group activities, friendships, anything to do with some large events, wedding receptions or festivals. So that's also emphasized here. And of course, long-term goals and plans. So that's a new moon at 7 degrees of Cancer, June 29th. This new moon is really good for leading a group project, for organizing some events independently here. This new moon will square Jupiter in your ninth house. So here you might not receive as much support as you desire from others. For this reason, if you work independently or rely on yourself, especially when it comes to something large, some group activity, while you work with others, also rely on yourself. Don't become too codependent. Now, this new moon might bring new friendship into your life. You might decide you want to join your group, become a member of a certain organization. And generally, this is really great for creating a vision map, long-term goals, long-term plans. That's fantastic during this new moon. Right, so on this note, I wish you a pleasant month. And until the next time, thank you very much.